What's up, guys? Opex again. Got another video for you today. I'm going to do one of these walking videos. I think I've only done one of these, so this will be number 2. Walking this cute little thing. So I want to talk about spelling. Yeah, I'm talking about spelling. This is something that people usually associate with witchcraft. However, I'm here to clarify that there's a lot of religions that believe in this. Christianity, a lot of different religions I've come across. New Age, witchcraft, of course. Plenty of different religions. But here's the truth. Everyone spells. Everyone casts spells. Spells don't have to be a curse. Spells don't have to be really anything, really. It's all spelling is using language in order to get something done or convey a message or to create something into reality. Let's dive into it, shall we? I'm going to go over here and sit down so I can have more of a little bit of more clarity when I'm talking. There's a little bit of wind. Hopefully that doesn't disrupt the audio. Well, not going to sit down there. There's bees. It's going to try to sit down right there. Not going to happen. So let's go for the walking thing. Alright, so spelling. People do spell every single day. All spelling is using language. This could be a word, let's say, like love, right? How you define love is how it's going to be operated into reality. Now, you are a creator. I've talked about this millions of times on my channel. You create your reality. You create everything around you. It's not anybody else. You're not a victim to something else. You have created this. Now, I've talked about the power of intention, so this is very similar to the power of intention. This would be like, okay, like the power of intention would be, think of going to Mexico as a white person. You're in Mexico City, you go down a dark alley. You're a white person. You clearly don't look like you're Mexican, like you're pale skinned like me, right? You go down to Mexico City, you don't know anyone, you don't speak Spanish. So one of two things that happen. You could be totally fine, or somebody's going to rob you, or whatever, right? So either good or bad can happen. Now, why is that? Why is there two different things, and how do you separate the two? Or what creates one and not the other? It's very simple. It's the vibration you're giving off. Same thing like a wounded animal, right? If it's wounded, you go after it and attack it, if you're about roughly the same size. Otherwise, if you're both equally healthy, equally about the same size, you want to go after each other. There's something that has to trigger the attack, something of vulnerability, something of little risk. So if you're going down in Mexico City as a white person, what happens? If you don't know what you're doing, you seem a little like your jaw's locked, you're not talking, you're not looking at anyone, you look timid, you're easy picking. Because you have shown the predators that you are prey, right? So think of it like that. So it is like the power of intention. It's if you intend to just walk down this alley, you look at people like, what are you going to do kind of thing? They're probably going to back off a little bit. Not saying that you should go above and beyond your confident zone, but it's like you see these people that go up to bears and the bear doesn't just rip their head off. Well, it's because they're throwing around an aura. If you throw that you're a little scared or timid, well, you played prey. So consciously, the other side would be the predator going after you. Now, that's just a little tip coming from, like a tidbit coming from the power of intention. And I'm trying to explain the similarities. So it's what you are defined and what you give off, and that's what you create. You create the event horizon because of your choice, or lack thereof. Now, again, I want to talk about spelling. Spelling is using language. So you got to define that language. It could be in any language. It could be It could be Italian, it could be any language. You just name the language, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the word that is spoken out. It's how you define that word. So, you know, I got dog playing in the pond here, right? You think that a dog would do that, right? Because that's what you associate it with. So you have a default understanding of what that dog's doing, right? I knew he was coming over here. Therefore, he did. Because I have a default understanding. And if you have a default understanding of something, that will happen. If you're scared in Mexico City and you're like, oh, somebody's going to rob me. Oh, somebody's going to rob me. Somebody's going to rob you. Default. You created that reality. You know what I'm getting at? Obviously, you don't have plans of getting robbed, but that's what default has to happen. So you have created that reality. Now let's go back to language. If you say the words, I am, this is the most famous one. This is what religious people believe as well. You know, the ones that say I am in the Bible, right, is God. I am, I am. But I am is spelling. You have created who you are. If you say, I am ugly, you're going to be ugly. I am beautiful. You're going to radiate with beauty. Why? It's because you believe something that you have just said. Now, if you just say things just to say things, like, I'm awesome, you know, but not really care or think much of it, or even define that in which that you have just spoke, it doesn't matter. It's air in the wind. But if you were to create an idea in your head saying, I am ugly, you look in the mirror, you have convinced yourself that you're ugly, well, you aren't going to be any prettier, and you're just going to create that reality that you are ugly. I mean, this could go with anything, but I am is probably the most powerful, because that's what you are inflicting on yourself. If I say I'm a good truck driver, right, and I truly believe that, well, I'm going to be a good truck driver. I'm not getting in accidents. If I truly believe that, I'm creating a realm, a reality in which I must follow. I must follow that reality unless I say, oh, if you're behind the wheel and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this turn right here at this speed, and you get like, oh, well, that is going to manifest itself, if that makes sense. Your reaction, it doesn't matter the words exactly what you speak. It's your identification or your definition of those words and your belief or faith of those words, or lack thereof. That is what manipulates your reality. I've always said this. I love that. I'm not looking forward to cleaning his paws. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? What was I doing? Sorry, I didn't want a video to be like this, where I'm not really paying attention. But your reality is manipulated by you. You are a creator. If you do what I did, which I've always said, I'm not getting married. Well, what happens? The ones that want to get married don't even look at me. It's not that I told them I don't want to get married. It's I've put an aura, a frequency, in which everyone can align to, whether you have your third eye open or not. Sorry, guys. I'm almost never here. So when I'm here, I try to play with the dog and have fun. Alright, so I always say I don't want to get married, therefore there's a frequency, a vibration that is released into the universe that is picked up by everyone, again, without your third eye having to be open, which creates that reality. And the only people who can create this reality is conscious understanding and faith and spelling and intention. This is all derived from high consciousness. This would be humans. This can also happen from any animal. Lion sees a gazelle. They use the power of intention to create the event that they want. Do you ever see these fighters that say fighters, I usually look at UFC and mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu and shit like that, wrestling. That's the things I like, fighting, boxing. But these fighters always say, I can picture myself knocking this person out. I can see how it happens. Boom, they go out there, they make it happen. Mike Tyson, he makes everything happen. What his thing was before he fight was to look directly in the person's eyes, see something. And once he sees what he has to see in that person, could be that person's, during the stare down, and then the person looks away because he couldn't wait to look away. Mike Tyson's like, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out. I know exactly how I'm going to do it to this person. How did he do that? He didn't necessarily have to have his third eye open. He didn't have to be high intelligence. We all have this ability that we can see and we can picture in our brain and create it into reality. The reason why we can do this is because we are creators. That's what we are. Look at this cut grass. This doesn't happen in nature. You create this. The house, we create everything. We create everything around us. That's all we do is create or destroy. And this has something to do with right, wrong, morals, good, evil, all that shit. You put a vibration into the universe, the world will respond. Now, I'm living back in New York. I don't really prefer it up here. I like Florida a lot more. But the reason I moved to Florida is because I followed a poll. It's not like I knew anyone in Florida. I went down there alone. I went down there with me and my fucking cat. Right? Didn't know a fucking soul. Met people. Made a few friends. Not overdoing it or whatever. But point is, I went down there because I followed a poll. And I know that was a good poll. Not a deterministic type poll. I have free will. I could have chose not to go. But for years, I felt something pulling me down to Florida. And it's pulling me back. And it's always been pulling me back. And when I go to Florida, I feel normal. I feel right. I feel my authentic self. I feel good. So with those positive vibrations that led me there, good things has happened. And I have a negative feeling towards New York. So when I come to New York, only negative shit happens. Very rarely something positive. But it's how you feel that creates that. So when you're looking at spelling, if I say I love Florida, good things are going to happen when I go to Florida. When I say I hate New York, I fucking hate this state. I hate the government. I hate this and that and the third. Well, those things are going to continually back up your claim that New York sucks. It's the same thing like, do you really, if you don't have faith in your God or Jesus or whatever, and two people that are Christians, that person's going to look like they're strayed, that they lost their way. Why do they associate that with the person who's not a believer? Well, there's a good reason. Because that person who doesn't believe doesn't get stuck into that paradigm in which the religious people are in. Those religious people are technically a cult. They have manipulated their reality into believing something. And when they believe something, especially as a group, and they all just believe the same written text, and believing in the same God, believing in the same everything as, as truth when it comes from the Bible. When they have that, and you don't, they're succumb to all the rules and stuff that applies to them. So the person who doesn't have religious belief is not held down by those barriers. Do you understand, the person who believes they're going to go to hell, in their mind, that's reality. What they read in the Bible is reality. Even these science people that are too deep into science, and instead of thinking theories are theories, they think of it as truth. Those people are stricken by everything in their life, recreating and backing up their belief. You better not fucking jump on me. That motherfucker's all wet and he went after me pretty good. Hey, buddy. But everything is stuck in that belief structure. Everything's going to back up what you already believe. Everything's going to prove you to be right because of how you believe it. You have created a reality that exists not only in your head, but it is existent around you, throughout the world, perhaps even farther, perhaps the universe. I don't know how far that goes. I can't prove anything. But I can prove that you are manipulating your reality. This dog. He's in his glory. Alright, so let's kind of like break it down. Because I want to go back to spelling, because that was like actually the main point of this video. Spelling is one of those things that everyone uses. People don't realize they use it. Have you ever heard, oh, look at your face, if you go, you're going to be stuck like that? It's sort of true. It's actually quite true. Because if you're always depressed all the time, your face is going to show others that. It's going to be hard to fake who you are. I've known this guy, and he always had that fucking face, like a really bad old face. And you can tell he's had it for years. And he looks weird when he doesn't have his normal, like, why do you look like that face? You know? Well, that's what is created through your thoughts. You have created the shape of your face, how your face is perceived to others. You're creating that. That's not just genetics. You have created a face. Same thing with everything else you do. The more intention you have and the more belief you have behind something is what is created because it has to. You ever see my video, Space Does Not Exist? It's the same concept. Once you take air out of something, it is replaced immediately, before that air is even taken out. The reason being it's replaced is because it can't be. There is no such thing as space. It can't be that there is no space. Because there has to be something, whether that's frequency, vibration, something. There has to be a substance in. There is no such thing as space. So when you're looking at spelling and your intention and your beliefs behind something, that's the only reason that things are because of your consciousness, because your higher intellect and consciousness. And your understanding of the universe creates the universe. And your fabrication or your motivation or your intention or what have you creates your reality. So everything that you have done in your life has created a reality. You might be a small blip on the radar, but like Dalai Lama says, you think you're small, try sleeping with a mosquito. Or small things don't change anything. I don't remember it verbatim. I never remember these stupid quotes. But the point is that you might be small, but you're manipulating a lot. My measly me on the freaking YouTube, I get those good comments. Hey, man, you inspired me to do this. Or, yeah, I hear it all the time. I'm inspiring people. And I'm just a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So just when I hear things like that, it's like, okay, I'm going to continue my videos. I'm not here to fearmonger shit, and a lot of people might think that, or be conspiracy theoried out, or repeat what I heard on the internet. I don't do any of that. I like to create my own reality. I hate the government, because every time I hate the government shoves another bullshit thing up my ass. And it's just what happens. When I say I hate the government, well, I'm creating them a reason to be hated. You know what I'm getting at? When you say things, it has power. And just going back to religion, your heaviest words can move a mountain. It says it in the Bible. Tupac even said that word, or phrase. My heaviest words move a mountain. But your words can manipulate, alter, even change substance in things. Like I said this in my Power of Intention videos. There's that snowflake thing where ice and water is manipulated by your intentions. The rice experiment. You cook 3 vials or jars of rice. One of them you just leave blank. One of them you put positive, happy thoughts like love and beauty and stuff like that. And then the other one The last one, you put evil, negative thoughts like death, destruction, etc. And 99.9% of the time, well, the negative energy ones, they rot. They have all types of problems, and you can tell like it's not going to be edible in like a week. The one you don't do anything to decays at a normal rate, gets eaten at a normal rate by bacteria and such. But the ones with positive thoughts, they look still edible after weeks of being in that jar. You can put those jars right next to each other. How you feel alters a room. Somebody comes into the room and you're there, right? If you feel sluggish, you're going to make that other person feel sluggish because your aura is going to infiltrate other people. How we understand each other isn't just by language, it's by feeling. When even, and a lot of people won't even believe me on this one, but feeling has a lot to do with a lot of stuff. You fill out an application online, somebody sees your application, never sees you. They're going to catch feelings from what they read on your application. Oh, you got a DWI 8 years ago? They catch a feeling. Oh, but then, wait, it's been 8 years since that feeling, or since that DWI. So they catch another feeling. They catch feelings in order to make a final conclusion or decision on you, that if they want to set up an interview or whatever. Feelings have a lot to do with everything. It's not the words, it's how you define those words, right? So it's not me, on that application. It's what's written on that application. That'll get me to the interview. Once I get to the interview, then it's me. It's me. It's actual, there's an actual person you're talking to. And then you can catch a feeling from that person. Oh, I have bad vibes from that person. Oh, I have good vibes from that person. So, ultimately, I like to just kind of finish off by saying there's another aspect to the world, and it has to be defined and understood. This is what your sixth sense is. Now, I've always said that there's a lot more than six senses, but I always like to put all the exterior from the five senses into that sense because it's all similar. It's all radio waves and stuff like that. You don't feel radio waves with your five senses, you feel it with your sixth sense. Or whatever type of frequency and vibration and aura and stuff like that. That's all sixth sense stuff. So I just want to leave you with that and understand that you are creating your reality. You are manipulating everything around you. You are building, you are destroying, you are changing people's day just by your aura. You don't even have to say anything. It's your feels, it's your intentions, it's your emotions. Again, it's not the words, you got to define those words. And that's what gives it power. How you define those, how much faith you have in it, or the lack thereof. And if you're robotic, things are just going to happen again. So a lot of people, especially like parents to children, right? A lot of children fall into the same category as their parents. They fall in their footsteps, right? The reason why this happens, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be a job, it could be disease, it could be alcoholic, it could be anything, right? The reason why kids follow in their parents' footsteps is because they don't consciously make an effort to change it, or they don't see it. So parents were always drunks, so I'm going to be a drunk. But until they were like, whoa, my parents are drunk, that's not good, then they make the change. Or single motherhood. My mom was a single mother, so now I'm going to be a single mother. Unless you make that conscious decision, wow, that fucked me up. I don't want it fucking up my kid. You got to make a conscious decision. That's why consciousness is so pure and needed in this matrix. And consciousness exists outside of the matrix. However, it's your consciousness that creates one single matrix under numbers, under all these guises of banks and all these schemes. And the only way to get you out is a conscious understanding. Conscious. See it, understand it, change it. Alright, that's about it for this video. Stay tuned for more content. Plenty more coming.